Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Well, let's see if this works. I don't know. Can you hear me, guys? I don't know. I got a new thing on, so I can't tell if it's working or not. And I don't think it is on my side. Whatever. How are you? Assuming you can hear me. Let me get my sister in here, and we'll see if she can hear me. And then maybe we can get moving. Suze, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, well, that's
I was going to say, let's do a sound check. Am I really, echoing?
You're not to me, but that doesn't mean much of anything.
That doesn't mean a damn thing. I know.
No. Okay, so people are hearing me, and they're saying I sound okay, and the volume seems better. I have a new mic on. So that's all good. Good. Okay.
Yay.
Okay, so, okay, because I set it up myself, and I wasn't sure I'd done it right. All right, good. Welcome, everybody. It's August 26th, and God help us. Susan, you're in Chicago, soon to be overtaken by federal police. And,
I know. I've been plotting. I've decided my best thing to do is just to get a bullhorn. And whenever I see them, just say, remember, following illegal orders is in itself illegal. It is not an excuse. We will find you.
Ha ha! Ha ha! I love it.
Don't you think?
Sure, go for it. Yeah.
I think that's the best thing that I can do. I can do it just like from my window.
Yeah. Good idea. Just listen, all merriment aside,
It's just terrible.
Well, listen, here's what, I was thinking people have to, oh, come on, Bob, for God's sakes, he says, everybody's saying the audio sounds so good. And now Robert is saying, we need video soon. Oh, no.
Lynn and I are pleased to be coming to you as we are.
You don't want to see
and
it.
We're not going to tell you what we're wearing.
Well, I'm dressed. She's probably not. I am dressed. And my hair is, I know I'm reasonably presentable, but if we did video, I'd have to put some makeup on. I just would. I wouldn't be able to not. And I'll be damned if I'm going to do that.
Yeah, well, I stopped wearing makeup a long time ago, and now I can't even put it on. I don't even know how to do it anymore. And it's so funny. I can't walk in high heels. I mean, I used to be the queen of spike heels. I did my whole legal career on 3-inch heels. I couldn't walk in a pair of even 1-inch heels. I don't wear makeup, none of that stuff.
I understand. And you're
and I'm used to the way I look. I actually put some fingernail polish on my for years now, unpolished nails, and it looks so weird to me.
Yeah, I know. Any kind of embellishment just seems like, what?
It just looks like, I think I got to take that off. That does not look, that is no longer enhancing.
Yeah. Well, things change. That's good.
Things do change, but this is actually for the better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's always better if we simply accept ourselves as we are, and to the extent that we're dissatisfied with the way we are, we try and change that internally. I'm beginning to, I've told you the story about being out to dinner in Santa Fe with my friends, and this impossibly perfect woman walked in, and
No.
my friend and I, who are rather cruel one together, start laughing because she was so clearly fixed from head to toe with plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And until she walked away from us, and my friend Joan and I both had the same immediate reaction. She doesn't. It's like when you don't brush your hair in the back. She forgot she had an ass, and she needed to have a little bit more work in back.
Oh, for God's sake!
No, we were just. I mean, when you see this presented to you, you know that's your. But that's not the story. So I go to the bathroom, and who's there but this woman? And we end up striking up a conversation, and I, of course, being me, said, I have to admit, my friend and I were just admiring how beautiful you were. And she just laughed. She said, my husband is a plastic surgeon. That explains it. That explains it. And then I smiled at her and I said, my husband is a psychoanalyst, and I'm supposed to just feel better about myself.
But maybe
true story.
Maybe her plastic.
True story. She thought
that was funny.
She thought that was funny too. We became instant good friends.
But apparently her plastic surgeon husband doesn't look at her behind.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay, just saying.
Anyway, so what I had just said reminded me of that story. I do think that in the end, my husband was correct.
Yeah.
You know, he always said, "Don't you dare! If the only thing that would make me really get so angry at you that I would divorce you is you risking your life to do something, you know, cosmetically. Why?
Yeah.
You know." And I internalized that. But then when I got to the age, I realized it doesn't actually work.
Well, it does up to a point. Yeah. I was with some people the other day, women who I know do work on their faces, and I was looking, and so far they're at the point where they just look good. I mean, you know, their skin is perfect. There's nothing wrinkling. Their face still works. You know, it's not frozen.
Right. It's not shiny or taut. Right.
But you know, if you have to keep doing it, eventually you're going to freeze. Right.
Well, Botox is every 6 months and it's painful. Why? And it's expensive.
So you feel good when you look in the mirror, because I understand. I mean, I look in the mirror and I think,
I always felt differently about. I always thought, you know, that Nana was beautiful, you know, and I liked the way her skin looked, and I liked the way her old hands looked, and I liked the way her wrinkles looked, and I thought the way our parents aged was beautiful. So I don't have that same reaction to aging. I find it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't find it unattractive.
No. Well, but we live we live in a culture that, as you know, Susan, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, that glorifies youth, and doesn't like being reminded of mortality. And wrinkled old people remind people of mortality. So in that respect, we're not wanted. Laura says about the makeup, yeah, I feel like a clown even if I dress up now.
Yeah, doesn't it? It's amazing how when you stop wearing it, how weird you feel when you do. It does not feel natural.
No.
I agree.
I know. This is all true. Well, are you all intending to keep me from my usual litany of doom and gloom?
Well, the weather is certainly lovely here.
Oh,
I have my
she is. It is. It's actually cold in my house. I had the windows open and it's cold. Hey, by the way, I saw this article about how much hotter certain cities were. They've crunched the numbers in the last 30 years, the difference and how. And Pittsburgh has not had as big a difference as many cities.
You have more trees.
We are 6 degrees hotter in the summer. Our summers are a little longer and 6 degrees warmer in general, whatever. I don't know how exactly they did the numbers. But I looked up Green Bay, and Green Bay was, I think it was 14 degrees warmer.
Oh no, I can just tell you by how the backyard pools are used. When Mom and Dad built that pool when I was a teenager, it was one of the very few pools in Green Bay, and we built it because the doctor told Daddy he had to learn to swim or die.
Right.
He learned to swim. Otherwise, we would not have done this because the economics of it were ridiculous. You couldn't get in until the beginning of June, and you were out by the end of August. So it was a lot of money for 3 short months.
Well, I think
we now.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the pool is now
4.
open and usable in the beginning of May, and I don't close it until the end of September.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So
I mean, you can, and it's usable all through that time.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Sometimes it's actually too hot. It's like a bathtub.
It is.
So
like the Gulf of Mexico.
The Gulf of what? What's that? The Gulf
of Mexico. There are times that you walk in the Gulf of Mexico that the water is
so
warm.
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the Gulf of America?
No, I am talking about I am in full revolt.
Well, good, as you should be. So, Susan, you have successfully kept me from my doom and gloom.
I can keep it up. Would you like me to?
No, actually, I'm sure the audience would, but no, I feel compelled.
Purge yourself, Lynn. Purge yourself.
Well, it's not a matter of purging myself. It's that I think
we have to talk about it. We can't not.
That's exactly right. But here's what I want to say. I read 2 things that one of you guys sent me. Barbara, thank you, sent me. It was 2 people who are on Substack, and one of them, and I don't think I got his name right. Let me, just because I like to do the old-fashioned thing, and Lucian Truscott. He wrote a piece, and as I started to read it, I thought something's wrong. And what was wrong was, well, I'll give you a sentence. You tell me what's wrong. He says, we don't use armed American soldiers against American civilians. What's wrong with the sentence is we do.
We do.
Yeah. And I was thinking, this is what has to stop. This is what media does. Remember, every time a mass murder happens somewhere, what is the soundbite you always hear? This does not, represent us. This does not happen here.
Well,
this is not America.
It is.
It is, and we've got to stop this. This bullshit we tell ourselves. So he says we don't use armed soldiers against American civilians. That way lies fascism and dictatorship. And
well, that's where we are.
Exactly. And this is what I want to say. We have got to stop and acknowledge where we are. And
you just have to tell the truth.
Yes, but very few people are doing it. Very few people.
And not like they're talking like a prim, 1950s school teacher reprimanding an errant child. We don't do that. No, that's not where we are. And it's not an errant child. It's a fascist dictator president imposing martial law on us.
We are now living in a police state. We are now in an authoritarian state. Our democracy, as we knew it all our lives, is not functioning at the federal level at all. At all.
Honestly, I mean, I have been thinking, sitting here in Chicago, about what we can do, and the things I mean, the bullhorn was one thing. The other thing that I thought we could do was actively engage with these soldiers, and speak to them, and say, really, is this where you thought you would be serving? And are we the enemy that you thought you'd be? You want to rethink this? I mean, I think we ought to be encouraging our soldiers to desert these postings.
Well, you can say that, and yet I think it was your governor, Pritzker, who, in his brilliant speech yesterday, an important speech yesterday, said to not take it out on the National Guard.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Well, but,
don't take it out on them.
Yeah, but they're in a possible position, because he said they could be court-martialed. They could be. I mean, you've got to. I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and I know, and I would hope that some of them would muster the courage to perhaps get themselves court-martialed by refusing orders.
I mean, I just have this fantasy of the siren song of Free Chicago, just having the soldiers melt into our homes and and just disappear.
Well, let me just clarify what I was saying. I said that Barbara had sent me two things. The one was the one I shared with you that's in the wrong tense. It's as if we haven't already gotten where he's warning we're going. And this next one has it right. And let me share it. His name is Garrett Graff, and he said, the United States, just months before its 250th birthday as the world's leading democracy, has tipped over the edge into authoritarianism and fascism. There. That's his first sentence. In the end, he says, in the end, faster than I imagined possible, it did happen here. The precise moment when and where, in recent weeks, he's saying it's in the last few, in recent weeks, America crossed that invisible line from democracy into authoritarianism can and will be debated by future historians. But it is clear that the line itself has been crossed.
Well, let's clarify just a little, because it hasn't been. That line has not quite been crossed yet. When the troops were sent into D.C., he had some authority to do that, because D.C. is a federally controlled.
But it's not just the troops.
But But if he sends it into, if he sends troops into Illinois, that's different.
He will.
He has no authority.
He will. Here's the thing. It's not just the troops. I mean, need we look at everything that has happened? It is the wholesale. There's not a day that goes by. I know, it's over. Yeah. It's over. And he says,
it was over the day the Supreme Court gave him immunity. That's when it was over.
And he says this, and I think this is true, that many Americans wrongly believe that there would be one clear, unambiguous moment, where we go from democracy to authority, where it would just be clear, oh my God, we've done it. And he said, no, this is exactly how it happens, as it has happened. A blurring here, a norm destroyed there, a presidential diktat unchallenged, and then you wake up one morning and your country is different. And I clearly feel it. It's we're there. We've done it, guys. Let's get our tenses right. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't mean that we can't fight like hell to take it back.
Or that it's actually the get off your asses. It's happened. Let's move. Stop waiting.
But the fact that they now have consolidated such power and have shown that they are willing to use it and are clearly, and Pritzker alluded to this yesterday, the armed troops in blue cities is to ensure that any election that gets held comes up with the right outcome. They're setting the table to make sure that we do not have a free and fair vote. There was Los Angeles against the wishes of the mayor there and the governor. There was D.C., which is a different story, as Susan alluded. And now he's threatening Chicago. The governor and the mayor there have said, we don't want you, stay out. And I don't know. I think,
if they brought the troops in here, where do you think they're going to put the troops?
Well, I don't know. There's places for troops. What do you mean? Where are they going to put them?
Oh,
you mean
but
what neighborhoods? Well, that's obvious.
Yeah.
Well, that's obvious.
They aren't going to put them in the crime-ridden area. They're going to put them on Michigan Avenue.
Well, I was thinking, actually, I have a flashback when I was listening to Pritzker yesterday. Because it was 1968. I was 20 years old, and I was living in Evanston, just bordered the north of Chicago. And I was,
there was a convention right around there.
I took the elevated train into the city to see my great aunt, Aunt Faye, Susan. And I got off where I always got off and started walking toward what Susan said, Michigan Avenue, where the water tower is, the water tower that famously survived the Chicago fire. And I got off and started walking toward Lake Michigan because
it's made out of stone.
Because she lived that direction. And there on the corner, the Walgreens, I was just stunned. I mean, I stopped because at that corner, there were Army tanks. There were tanks. And there were armed soldiers. And they were on both sides of Michigan Avenue at that corner. And it was a beautiful day. And I was walking to see my great aunt that I'd often done before. And I had never in my life seen a sight like that. And my blood ran cold. And of course, that was the days before the Chicago Convention in '68. So yeah, I've seen troops in Chicago, and it's terrifying, but it shows we've been there before. But you could argue that the troops called out then were called out because there was great danger of social upheaval that could impact the holding of this important convention or whatever. You could argue that maybe there was a pretext. There is no pretext for troops on the streets of Chicago or Philadelphia or D.C.
You could also
or any.
argue who was the president when that happened.
Lyndon Johnson.
Well, that's right. It was Johnson, not Nixon.
Yeah. Lyndon Johnson. He had said he wasn't going to run.
Yeah.
And so that was, that was the roiling 68 convention. So anyway, I just want to say that, guys, let's get the tense right. And so I want you to react every time.
And she's saying TENSE, not TENTS.
I want you to understand that when you read, and you'll continue to read, and it'll drive you nuts, all of these columns and stories about how we're, tipping in or sliding in or this and that. We're there. We're there. And this guy, this Garrett, goes on to say, and if you look at the National Democratic Party, the National Democrats, you tell me, is there a coherent, is there anything coming from them? Anything. The Democrats you're hearing from are Pritzker, Newsom. They're governors that are screaming.
Well, Bernie Sanders is out there screaming, and AOC is out there.
But not the leadership. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer. And he says, I challenge you to find a moderately tepid and clear-eyed statement from any national Democrat. They are invisible as the military takes over policing the streets of the Capitol. That's where they are. So don't look to them. They ain't coming. And if you didn't see Pritzker's speech yesterday, I beg you to look it up. I'm sure it's available. He said everything that needed to be said. He said it clearly.
Yeah,
he said it clearly. And he said it surrounded by a group of Chicago business leaders and religious leaders and political leaders. And he made clear that these are people that don't always agree with each other, but they are in agreement on this, that they do not want nor need the National effing Guard sent in to their city. He was so clear-eyed. I really I think he is the best voice that I
do too.
Regularly see.
The only,
I mean, Newsom is.
I wish we could get him on Ozempic, because the problem is that all you hear anybody screaming around here is how I'm sitting in Chicago and all I hear is, "Hey, he's so fat." People are so shallow in this country. Yeah, he is the best candidate out there. He's the real deal. He actually believes everything he's saying. He can't be swayed by money. He's got enough. He really is doing this out of a long-held familial feeling of responsibility.
He's a good guy. He's a smart guy, and
he's a good guy.
And he's a hell of a leader.
You're right.
He's a hell of a leader, and extremely impressive. But there's so many things that he he touched on everything that needed to be said. I wish I could remember some of the things that I wanted to.
Most importantly, he pointed out that if this had anything to do with reality, top eight of the top states with the highest homicide rates and cities with the highest homicide rates are in Republican-led states. Why aren't they being sent there?
That's right. He did make that very clear. If this
Chicago is number 25.
Yeah.
Not even in the top 10.
Right. So he called that out. But what he also called out in terms of, you think this is about crime? Ha! If Trump were so concerned about crime in Chicago, wouldn't he have reached out to the mayor, to the governor, to the police, and said, let's work together? Let us coordinate something. I want to be able to help you. He said, we all in Chicago found out about this apparently long now, this has been on the table for some time, plan to send troops into Chicago. We found out, he said, the same way you found out. We read it in the Washington Post. And if the federal government was really concerned and wanted to do something about crime in Chicago, why would they have not contacted the leadership and law enforcement in Chicago? And that question just hangs there like a yeah.
He was busy Elmer's gluing guilt onto another room in the White House. He didn't have time.
You can't. And the thing is, we can, call these lies out over and over and over again, but you see, it doesn't matter. They'll do what they're going to do. They'll calculate how much they can get away with. They've clearly calculated they could get away with a hell of a lot more than anyone ever thought they could, because we're just 8 months in to a 4-year administration.
And it's working splendidly, I say.
So I am just beside myself. I want to say this. Anybody who celebrates the 4th of July and the 250th anniversary of this country next year is out of their minds and is delusional. We should be
having a wake.
We should have funerals. Yeah, we should have funerals. Does somebody have black fireworks that we can get up in the air? I will no longer be able to sing the national anthem because I would choke on Land of the Free. We've got to stop.
Well, there is one piece of good news. They can't put him up on Mount Rushmore because the mountain couldn't accommodate it.
Don't worry, they'll
have to just paint him on.
No, they'll just listen, you can erase one of the guys that's already up there.
Well, that's true. We could turn him into Trump.
Okay, so if you just look at the things he's done in the last, and here I think this is also it's something we should stop doing, is looking at the outrage of the morning and then the outrage of the early afternoon and then the outrage that happened while you were sleeping. So I see he has now fired the first black woman ever.
He's trying to.
No, he said he has.
Well, he had, but she ain't leaving.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't have the authority.
Oh, yeah. Well, he doesn't have the authority, Susan. He doesn't give a shit. He didn't have the authority to do half of what he's doing.
I'm for saying no. I'm just,
fine.
She's saying no.
Well, This is, again, be clear. You are living in an America that has never existed before.
And it's really, it's playing out in really weird ways. And I mean, the people, you point out that, of course, he's firing the black woman. Excuse me for bringing this up as an example, but Home HGTV just announced they were dropping a bunch of shows because of the expense of the shows. They're keeping a bunch of others that are the same show, so equally expensive. Here's what they got rid of: the black people and the gay people.
Mm-hmm.
When I thought about it and I looked back at the shows, because the shows they were getting rid of really had followings and beloved people, but the two gay guys that, the two gay and gay.
I never watched, so I don't know anything.
Folks.
I don't know anything.
You don't know. I'm not saying you know. I'm just telling you who it is. And all of the white married Christian folks kept their shows.
Well, again, big shock, huh? Big shock.
No, it's just,
what about in Florida?
It's playing out across your lives. It's playing out. You're watching it.
Where
erasing people.
The Pulse mass murder in Florida overnight. They painted over the crosswalk near that nightclub where I think up to 50 gay people were mowed down. And that crosswalk had been turned into, the stripes had been made into a rainbow. And that had been there for years and years and years. In the dead of night, it was painted over. And, gay people will be erased. Tributes to them will be erased. They're not subtle. And that's the astonishing thing. Look
and they're coming for women. I mean, they're going after the women are next.
Look,
they're
next
coming for our vote.
Women, blacks. Women, blacks.
Yeah.
Trump wonders why, the good things about slavery are not mentioned at the Smithsonian. He's taken over literally everything: our museums, our institutions. And the effect, the ripple effect, creates fear in every other museum, every other university, even those that haven't been targeted. It's over. We're living in a dictatorship. And it's the dictatorship of a lunatic. And here's what I was thinking. The other thing this guy said, what we don't know, because it's happened, we're in the early parts of our dictatorship, will it go like it went in Hungary? Will it go like it has in other countries where it doesn't get totally horrific? Will it go like it did in Germany? And the guy who I was reading put his money on Germany. And you know what? I do too. Here's one of the reasons.
I do too. We're going because we're already so cruel. They already started with the concentration camps and the deportations. I mean, just what they're doing to this Garcia guy. I mean, it makes you wonder, how did he get so unlucky that they focused?
Well, he did. Because he got unlucky because he was somebody that they
fought back.
Because they could identify him. He was one of a bunch of people who got disappeared. He was identified and then said to be, he's not a gang member, he's not a this. And so we started to learn of him. So he became, the poor soul, a symbol plucked out of all those other poor souls. He became a living symbol. And he's one of so many, of just so many. But damn it, I was about to say something and I forgot. Oh, here's why.
I'm sorry, I derailed you.
Here's why Germany. And this is my thinking. Because of Trump because Trump was saying the other day, I think it was Putin, who said he was like the president of Europe. Something like that. And I thought, you know what? Here's one thing we know about this guy. He's insane. His megalomania has no way of being satisfied. So once he becomes the dictator of the United States, he'll need more. And that's what Hitler had needed. More. So I don't see him stopping. He's insane. Good job, American voters. Good work. He's an insane, crazy lunatic with an insatiable appetite for power and attention and an incredible desire to make people suffer.
Yeah, I think it's the greed culture. I really do. I think it's the I'm going to vote for what is in my interest and I don't care who suffers crowd. And what is amazing to me is how they are doubling down on the suffering. You know, no matter how much they see this, you know, people being disappeared. You shouldn't have been here anyway. No matter how much they see their prices going up in the grocery store, they're going, well, why don't we do everything in the United States? Shouldn't hurt us. Let's just, you know, as if you can just say, I liked it better in 1950 when we didn't have a worldwide economy. Let's just go back and snap our fingers. How big a dumb cough do you have to be to understand that's just not possible? It's as impossible as saying to you to say, go back and resurrect all of your family that was alive in 1950 and tell them to resume.
Yeah. So
I don't
again,
what's in these people's heads?
Well, very little. Here is what's in their hearts as well.
Cruelty.
I just want to point out a few of, again, these guys never stop. While we're speaking at various agencies and centers of power in the federal government, right now, actions are being taken that will make us less free, less safe. And I was just looking at, just from the last, I think, 24 hours, Trump, the dictator, has ordered that there will no longer be what's called cashless bail. And the fact is he has no right to do that. So what he's saying...
He has no authority to...
Yeah, what he's saying, he will cut federal funds to any jurisdiction that allows cashless bail. He'll starve any jurisdiction that does it. Cashless bail is what helps to keep some hapless souls out of our jails simply because they don't have money. A person with money charged with the same crime pays bail and goes home to await trial. If you're poor, you don't have the money, you go to jail. And you rot there for months and months and months and months and months without a trial, without being convicted of anything except you don't have money. So some jurisdictions allow for cashless bail. This is intended to take more black people off the streets and into the jails. This is all part of keeping black people and brown people from taking part in our country and from voting. You got to get as many of them, deport them, put them in camps, put them in jails. That's just one little way. Just one little thing. They don't stop. But the part I don't get is how he seems to want to kill us indiscriminately. And that gets into what they're doing with Health and Human Services, but also with FEMA. So we're just into hurricane season now. And you have...
FEMA doesn't exist.
And the 20th anniversary of Katrina. And a whole bunch of people who still, for some reason, have a job at FEMA wrote to Congress and said that because they care, they are warning Congress that American people are in harm's way because if a disaster hits, we, FEMA, are in no position to help them. So what is, let's just say, there is a Katrina-like hurricane. We saw what happened in Texas and the inability of FEMA to get up.
Yeah, I was going to say there have been several natural disasters where FEMA would have been there, and no one's answered the phone, quite literally.
Yeah.
And that has not been, I mean, that's been reported, but just sort of, that's exactly how it was reported. Yeah, no, FEMA is missing in action. Well, of course they are.
And then I was thinking, but Susan, so why I mean, okay, you're elected because you say you'll put the grocery prices will be down, the this, the that, the yada, yada, yada. Grocery prices have done nothing but skyrocket since he's been in office. And you would think that a lot of these natural disasters come in the red states in the South, that he would want to show those voters that he's with them and is... But you know what? Here's why he doesn't care. There aren't going to be elections. He doesn't have to worry about voters. He can kill us one way or the other. And so I see now, here's a headline. Opponent of COVID vaccine is named to lead federal team reviewing COVID vaccines. As we head into another winter COVID season.
It's very interesting how once the messaging stops, I've been thinking to myself, you got to get Mother in for a COVID vaccine. I'm going,
that's right.
I wonder if they're even available.
Well, that's what.
And I would have been so on it. And the messaging stops, and it's people we're going to get so much sicker so fast.
Yeah, I read that the FDA is about to, I think it's this week, sign off on the next iteration of the vaccine, the Myrna vaccine for COVID, which they've already said they're only going to authorize for old folks. For old folks like me. Yeah. The rest of you, if you're
and like me,
you're just my kid sister, Susan. I don't think of you that way.
I know, but I'm old.
Okay,
dear.
so we're if you're under 65, good luck. The part about that's what got me to the part about killing us. the children,
Well,
the immunization of children.
it's
So
the
children
babies.
dying
It's
and
the
the babies
that are,
dying,
Yeah.
and all of that.
The
I mean,
babies are no longer safe because there's no herd immunity. So, I have baby grandchildren and grandnieces and nephews. If you want to take those kids anywhere, before they're immunized, you're taking your kid into a place where they might be at risk because they could get measles.
because there's
they could
people.
get pertussis. Pertussis requires a 96% immunization rate to get herd immunity. We're down in the 60s at this point.
No, it can't be that.
We're way low.
Well, it can't be
We're
that
way
low.
low on something.
Well, I'm sure we're lower than 96, but no, all this stuff's going to come back. People who pine for the past, they'll get it. So people will die of measles and polio, and kids will die of whooping cough. Women will die for want of.
The reason
want
women
of
had so many families had so many children were twofold. They didn't have any contraception reliably, and two, only 1 in 4 kids survived.
So yeah. I mean, okay, so this is that question that I kept thinking, but how can they be doing this? Because this will start touching people. People don't get the Social Security increase they want, or their Medicaid goes away. These are Trump voters, and eventually even them, they won't be able to, their groceries and the safety net will just get more and more holes in it. And even when those people wake up and say, God, we got to get him out of here, it won't matter.
It'll be too late.
There'll be no elections. And if anyone thinks that if there is an election and Trump were to lose, or you're saying he can't run again, we'll see about that. But if the Republican, the placeholder, loses, and you think they'll accept that? You know they won't. You know they won't.
I've been
and
saying
this time,
since he was elected,
But this time,
elections.
this time he has the full force of the United States military at his beck and call. And most states have Republican governors. And they've got their National Guards at their beck and call. You live in a dictatorship. The United States of America, as it was throughout our lives, no longer exists. And all of this play acting by media, by everybody, as if nothing has changed, is just insane. I see we have a caller. Hang in. Hello.
Hello. Clarence from Canonsburg, friend of Blovius, friend of Sissy White Liberal. I heard Blovius call last week.
Oh, it was a great call. Great call.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's old too, by the way.
Either
way, I used to be the young one, but I'm old too. I'm just
Yeah, we've known each other too long for everybody not to be.
Yeah. What I wanted to say when you guys were talking, like Trump is doing this, we're the dictator, this Trump. What I've been pushing is Trump wouldn't be Trump if our friends and family didn't vote him in.
That's right.
That's who I'm hitting, and I'm hitting them.
Hitting
them hard.
That's right.
I said you don't get a break like you did the first time. You should know better.
That's right.
I literally, it's not just me, the whole family. There's a thing in Star Trek for one of the cultures for the Klingons called disaccommodation. You just turn your backs on them.
Yeah.
And that poor soul, he was bragging about vote for Trump online, and we've had plenty of parties and family gatherings. Not welcome. friends. And I said, it's too bad. I said, you're taking away my freedom, the future's freedom this day. It's your fault. And and every time I went to the shop at Save yesterday, and coffee, Maxwell House, was damn near $20.
What?
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
He put a picture of it up.
Yeah,
My
I was like,
God.
holy cow. Yeah, it
1882 to be exact, or something like that.
yeah, it was 1999.
Oh, okay.
That was their it was a $6 discount on that.
Whoa.
But that it's I don't buy coffee there. I buy it at Dollar General because I like McCafe, but even that's double the price. But yeah, my whole thing is.
But that's like
That's-
totally determined. It's climate change by tariff. But
Yeah.
so
It's
it's
tariffs.
shortage and labor
Yeah.
and tariffs.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's one of those things where people say we should just make it in America. You can't grow coffee in America.
Make it in America. It's like
You can't grow bananas in America. There's nowhere to do it. It's like you can't do it. And but I just want to stick to that point of just keep jumping on the Trump voter. The other day, back on 4th of July, I go to this family's every year. Found out that the husband voted for Trump. Something came in on this thing that Trump wasn't taxing. One of his alerts on his phone. Trump taxes on overtime, right?
Yes.
And him and did all blue collar workers.
Yeah.
And they were all happy. I said, "You guys are idiots." They said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Yeah, in your paycheck, your overtime is not going to be taxed." I said, "But you still got to pay your income tax. It's still part of your income. So when you fill out your income tax, I said, well, you're just going to owe more money on your income tax. It's still there." I said, "You guys are idiots." I'm sitting there with a bunch of there's like 5 big black guys, truck drivers, and I just sat there with my little skinny artist self and said, "You guys are idiots. You're still going to be taxed." So you keep falling for this stuff. Trust me, I was going to drop the N word because when they were talking about Hispanics are taking taking blacks' jobs, I said, "You guys don't realize what they're talking about is farming jobs. They want us to go back in the field to start picking things."
That's right.
That's what they're talking about.
That's right.
And you're starting to see it. You're starting to see literally farmers are out there saying, "Why can't blacks do this?" Because the ICE is taking away all their Hispanics. They're literally saying, "Well, why can't their black folks be doing this?" They're saying it out loud. It's like, yeah, sorry, buddy, you lost your farm, you lost your Hispanics. One comedian, a big fat comedian, I can't remember what his name was, but he's dead now. But he said, "You can't get a black guy to pick a movie in your backyard. You think he's going to pick?"
Well, when you think about the prices, think about the prices of fresh vegetables and all those foods that all those brown people who are now running for their lives or in camps in Uganda or whatever the hell. All those people who picked our fresh vegetables are gone. They'll be rotting in fields and or so much pricier. They are rotting in fields.
They are rotting in fields.
And they'll be
right. And the stuff that we import is 40% higher, and now you multiply it by scarcity. So you can't afford meat because that again is environmentally impacted, and the cattle the heat is not working good for cattle. So you can't afford meat. Chickens got killed off from all that sort of stuff. There aren't no chicken wings left. I don't know why they got everything else, and it's all very expensive. But you can't afford to be a vegetarian. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Eat grass.
During the pandemic, when people were, going,
growing their own stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they're taking all the toilet paper out of the store. I ran into one of my sisters. I said, "Look at these poor saps. They're panicking." I said, "When you grow up in poverty, you know different ways to wipe your butt. You take a newspaper, whatever you got, make it. That's you know how to survive, and that's I know how to survive this kind of poverty. What I mean? These people like freaking out. I've survived this kind of poverty. Even after I was a kid. I'm one of those people who, for 2 weeks, had nothing but beans and rice to eat when I was a kid. There was no meat. I could survive. It's not going to. But there's a lot of people out there who didn't grow up like that who have no idea how to survive this stuff. So you see, once again, you'll see the suicide rates going up. You were talking about crime rates. People got to eat. The mob came in during the Depression. They got big. You know. Yeah. So, but once again, it's not just Trump's fault. You have friends and family who put him there.
So
make sure that they know it every time something happens.
Clarence,
can I go one more slight? Go ahead.
What, Clarence?
Oh,
I have one.
Yeah.
Because we're really out of time, but I want to pose a question to you. You live in Cannon. Sure. You're Clarence from Cannonsburg. For those who don't know, Cannonsburg is a lovely little community that has just a famous 4th of July parade every year. It's iconic. So what the hell?
Come down to our Oktoberfest. Huh?
Okay. But so what's going to happen this 4th of July? It's a biggie because it's the 250th anniversary, and our democracy is gone. So I think there should be protests.
Yeah, there might be.
How would that go? How would that go down in Cannonsburg? Not too well.
Cannonsburg. I don't know if you remember during the Black Lives Matter protests.
Yeah.
They let a group of kids, young black people, march in that parade during the Black Lives Matter, era.
Mm-hmm.
And they had like a Black Lives Matter thing here. It depends on if the mayor who's there now wins again. I went to school with his sister. He went to school with one of my sisters. Known him forever. If there's protests, there will be protests. It'll work down here.
But there's just something, but treating this July 4th like it's a normal July 4th when we're not even living in a democracy anymore seems so bizarre to me. So crazy.
Oddly enough, when I get off the phone with you, I have to make a phone call. Somebody had messaged me to, we need to talk about the 4th of July and 250th anniversary. They probably want me to design something for
Yeah. We need to. We need to start thinking about. We've got a year. We've got a year to
get ready.
Do the
black armbands, Clarence. Do the black armbands.
I'm serious. Something has got that. We've got to have like a funeral parade. Is what we've got to have. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Good to hear from you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Was my call as good as Blovius's, though? No, I'm kidding.
All right. You're out of here.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye. Yeah. Okay, Suze. Well, there you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
You're
welcome.
Yeah. I was going to say keep your head down there in Chicago, but quite the opposite. Keep your head up and your mouth open.
I'm going bullhorn shopping.
Good. Do it. All right.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. And guys, I'm sorry if I have to stop apologizing for being a downer, because the way I perceive my job, even if it costs me my audience, is to speak the truth as I see it, and I think our country is gone, and we are now at this different point where we have to now think about seriously, what are we going to do? We can't lay down and let them have it. Just can't. Okay. Hey, thank you all. Thanks all you guys on chat for your input, and I'll be back tomorrow. I am aware that Thursday is what we now call a Throwback Thursday. It's the last Thursday of the month, and so I'm supposed to be not doom and gloom, and I'm working on it. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, but I'm going to work on it. So, some respite Thursday, I hope.
Lynn Cullen Live. Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.